Good afternoon and welcome one and all to the week 3 game 1 versus DoVC versus Warmother Children's. I am one of your casters, Michael Spenlaw, and we've got Rookter with me today. How are you doing, Rookter?
I'm doing fantastic, Spencer. Looking forward to this game between Chaos and Warmongers Children. DOV did play in season number 1, now we're in season number 2. Warmongers Children, new to the rosters, new to the thing here. Deathstone, Ancient Fear, Viperisk, Cormoros, and Dux El Bolt as well. Looking forward to this game. We do have that champion draft up for you already, and the new Molly Bear up on the screen for you. Looking forward to seeing that gameplay.
Yes, we are, and it's going to be an interesting gameplay one, I believe. It's bit of a change from what we're kind of used to when it comes to Volibear, but I think it's going to be a more welcome change, and I want to see kind of how teams kind of play around it and what kind of makes them change with it. So as you did mention, we did have picks and bans already done. It looks like Chaos has gone with the bot lane with Thresh and Aphelios into, it looks like a Kaisa Soraka. Do you have any thoughts on that kind of lane there?
Kaiser is short range ADC, so definitely going to be standing on the front lines. Going to have the heal, going to be having to use that mobility with that E just to be able to dodge around a few hooks as well. Means Plague Keeper can play fairly aggressive in this lane, but if they can't one shot onto Viperisk and they can sort of like win that lane of attrition, they could definitely scale up into this game fairly well. Dolphin Judas on this Aphelios, heavily damage dealing as well. Needs to have a fairly good early game to be able to get this casted in online for SSJR as well. So we'll have to see how that goes. Just an interesting thing from these team comps, however, is that Warmongers Children do have are playing that Shen. Generally, you have a diver with that. Nunu isn't traditionally a diver, just kind of wants to run at your team. You can get flayed away, meaning that Shen can't really get a guaranteed torn off in the fights. You've got that no CC mid laner with the Corki there for Deathstone as well. So they are kind of playing this sort of siege style with these two ADCs, but they're going to have to be quite creative with engages because it can't come from that Soraka in the bottom lane. It's going to be all on the back of Cornolus if he can get those flanks on the Nunu, or if he can get really aggressive with those snowballs into the fights.
Yeah, I was gonna actually make a comment off of that too. It looks like maybe they're going for more of a like, it would be kind of weird, but I could kind of see them maybe trying to do more of a try to protect and scale. That Kaisa is gonna be a hard hitter late game as well as the Corki, so they're gonna have a bit of scaling on their end. But on the side of DOV Chaos, they've got a Felios that's gonna start hitting really hard like a truck, and a Cassidon who's gonna come on mid lane or mid game. I apologize, that can actually start doing in some work once he gets those one or two items under his belt.
Yeah, exactly, Spenley. Looking forward to seeing how that goes. We do have that Thresh Volleybet, Aphelios, and Mordekaiser up into that top lane. Up against the Sen, so theoretically, I would say Trudok's going to have a good time into Dux El Volt up into the top lane with that Shen. Shen has a nice level 1, level 2 battle spike, but once some items come through for Trudok, you'd really expect that Mordekaiser to be a threat and a side lane pushing monster with that teleport. Can get matched as well. We do have Exhaust coming out probably for Deathstone as well, so going to be scaling potential, but definitely that 1-3-1 in those later stages of the game. It's whether or not Plaguekeeper and Sonic Caps can get them through the line of POV Chaos.
Yes, and looks like loading into the game is just about to be ready. So just a couple more thoughts. Any other thoughts that we have on this game before we kind of get into it?
I think ideally it's all going to be about who can seek advantages in the middle of the game, or between that sort of like 8 to 15 minute mark. Whether or not somebody can get a gold lead coming out to sort of like 2-3k, then they can try and push their lead a little bit too much. Both of these teams do have scaling potential on their sides. Definitely that sort of like pure back for the side of Warmongers Children. So they're going to have to play a little bit cautiously. Definitely going to have to get to objectives first, be able to hold their ground. Otherwise, they could just get pushed off by POV games.
Yes, and as you're saying that, it looks like loading did finish in. And it looks like they did take the exhaust in the bot lane, so that will be kind of an interesting one. It's going to be able to make it a little safer for that Kaisa Soraka. down there. However, it looks like they're doing a nice little 5-point, pretty standard as per usual, but with not much action it looks like going on around the map. Looks like Mordecai is playing a little bit of music for Shen, and he's giving his 2 cents with a little bit of a dance too.
Yeah, exactly. Not too much coming up in the start of the game here. Going to be just slowly working their way into the match. Definitely looking for that bottom lane start onto both of these sides as well. So they'll be able to rotate down there fairly nicely. Fairly similar jungle pathing for these two characters. So potentially Nunu can look for an invade early on as well. See how that goes down the line.
Yeah, and that's a very interesting point. I think really right now, like the early game is going to be kind of a who can hit 6 first when it comes to both of the junglers at this point. With the way that the new Volibear 6 works is he's just going to be able to ult in. If anyone remembers, Ohm Wrecker is a very old item. He pretty much, that item got taken out and then put into his ultimate, which is going to disable turrets for, I believe, up to 1.5 to 3 seconds. I'm not exactly sure the exact timing, so I'll have to take a look and see if I can find that out.
It's 3 seconds.
Okay.
It is actually a couple of tower shots at least, definitely, with that heat up as well. But once it does come off online, the towers are obviously going to hit quite hard. You are going to be building that tank on Sonic Cabs as well, so have to be careful. Level 2 getting pressured here now for Playkeeper. The sun's come down, but Judas gets the hook already on the Soraka, has to disengage, has to burn that flash, and Viperus is out threat in this bottom lane.
Oh my gosh, and that was such a very good 2v2 down on the bot lane. They actually got, the Thresh and Phelios got the level 2 first, but only a fraction of a second before the Kaisa and Soraka. Not enough time really to effectively take advantage of that.
Trudok has to flash away, but the Ignite's already come down. First blood over to Duck's Elbow. Now he's trying to disengage. He's got a lot of minions down, but it's traded back to Volibear. Sonic Cabs manages to find his flash, gets the hook down into the bottom lane. Playkeeper looking for it, trying to find out onto the Soraka, but again, it is a war of attrition in this bottom lane. If they can't get the all-in, they can just heal up.
Oh my gosh, and that 1v1 that turned into a 2v1 up in the top lane, Shen played that immaculately, knowing kind of how and where to be and how to dodge out of, especially once that Volibear came up.
Playkeeper's got nothing less. He's now been exhausted onto the front line. Dolphin Judas taking up that 2v1, gets the route down just to disengage the fray, but again, we mentioned that war of attrition down to that bottom lane. If they can't get that all in, they're looking to get them low enough to be able to burn that Ignite, and they're just not at that level yet.
Yeah, and they're able to put exert enough pressure down there. Like, one of the win conditions for DoV is going to be that Aphelios coming online.
Getting up into the top lane, but it's going to be a 2v2 here. Sonic Cabs now rushing in. They stun up onto Dexter Volt. Taunts back into the tower, but Quadoros gets a really nice heal just to be able to survive. That means DoV are charging up into this top lane, and they seem to have a lot of pressure.
Yes, they just keep putting all that pressure. They're trying to make sure that that Shen cannot do anything. The longer they keep that Shen off of 6, the longer the entirety of their team is going to be vulnerable.
Put down yet again with the Ignite coming down here. Finally, Viper will fall in the bottom lane. Dolphin Judas now very, very low, potentially going to get caught out, but the minions are there, and Ancient Fear can't push any further. And
that's actually going to be a really good thing for DoV right there, because of the fact that they had such a big wave right in front of that turret. They're going to be able to, with that mana advantage, try to get that pushed all the way under turret and break that freeze that Kaisa or Ancient Fear was trying to set up.
Very persistent on the side of Playkeeper, ever looking for this pressure into the bottom lane, but they need to do that. They need to keep up this tempo. If it is a slower paced game, they might struggle here. Yet another hook down onto the lower, but he just has to disengage. Playkeeper flashes away, but the auto was in the air, the banana was flying, and Viperus thinks it in.
Oh, hell, the Banana Lord, just, that's so raw, especially that skin, oof.
SSJR has to play ring around the Rosie. Now he has to get back to his tower. He's got the minions, but their stone is just pumping in the autos. Sonic Cab's there for the disengage, doesn't really want to find anything too much. The Valkyrie gets Corky away, and they'll be able to secure the mid lane.
And I want to point out this mid lane is supposed to be a ranged versus melee matchup, but the melee is actually winning in the form of CS. Got a 10 CS lead and is pushing in a big wave under turret to deny even more.
Have a nice space and already backed as well, so that means SSJR is in a very nice spot here in the middle lane. As you said, free farming on a Caston is exactly what DoV want to see here. Chaos, now they're trying to push out the wave to the bottom lane. Have a little bit of a freeze spawning up here. Playkeeper going to try and stop her back. Obviously, Agent Fair hasn't faced yet. Can't match the damage of that BS tool as well, so Agent Fear really needs to find a reset for the wave. They're going to lose a lot of cadence in this bottom lane for them.
Oh gosh, yeah, and it looks like, I mean, at this point they're forcing the Soraka back, which means that, of course, Kai'Sa's going to have to back as well to kind of keep that back timer even. It looks like we've got maybe a 3-man dive up in the top lane. They're looking, but it doesn't look like they want to pull the trigger as of right now.
Yeah, they don't have the wave in the right place for this. It is going to be able to crash this. There's actually potentially a nice freeze coming out for Duxel Volt if he wants to perform this. He's already brought it up. He's got a pink behind him as well, so he's in a good spot in this lane. Just to play careful. Trudeau trying to push an advantage. We said a couple of levels, a couple of items, and he'll be flying there. Duxel Volt breaks the freeze though. He's looking aggressive. He's gone for that ignite yet again. Can't get that last auto. Doesn't have the flash for it as well. The burn won't be there, and Trudeau survives with his life. He's going to have to recall. Doesn't have to teleport back to lane though. So it's advantage over to Duxel Volt.
And he just got it was so smart of him. He just was one tick off and it would have been perfect. He would have gotten that solo kill. Would have been able to get himself just a little bit more cemented in that lane as a stronger player.
Yeah, so he is now crashing down to the bottom side. That means there's a lot of priority over onto the side of DoV Chaos as they're trying to fight back for it. We do have Warmother in the jungle on the bottom side, potentially looking. Nunu can take that solo dragon beast. Collapsing mid. We do have level 7, however, on SSJR. That means that it's very difficult to now gank that Caston post that 7-minute mark.
Yeah, and it looks like maybe they might be trying to set up for something over in that mid lane, but I think honestly, yeah, that Nunu could very well just easily take that dragon solo as long as they can kind of deny the vision around it and make sure that they don't know that he's actually on it. And look,
exactly. Wave resetting here. We do have Sonic Cabs now just trying to square away vision, but he's going to be running into Viper Risk. That means he's going to get stunned up. He's definitely going to fall. The flash has already been burned. Here comes the Stand United down, but it doesn't matter. He gets burned instantly, and that's a big cooldown down already. He's actually on the Rift Tower, I think, right now, sitting to see what he can take. I don't know if he's actually trying to chase that, but it's Dragon Control going over to DoV Chaos.
And it looks like just here I think there's no way you can win. It can obviously be a 4v3. I think right now DoV is strong enough. They tried to engage on that 4v3 that it would go their way.
Reset here, repositioning. Here comes the volley bear, slapping in the face of Ancient Fear. Gets a stun down. Dolphin Judas in the back line. Here comes the reset out of Ancient Fear, trying to reposition on the map. Deathstone gets one. Can he get two? He's got a double, but he'll fall. Dolphin Judas gets exhausted up. Ancient Fear piling on the back line. SSJR is in it. He gets one. He's gonna get a third. Can he push forward onto Viper Strike? Yes, he can. The double SSJR looking strong. The reset, and it's a complete whitewash on the map.
Oh my gosh, that fight was extremely bloody, and just the fact, like I was saying, that with that Caston in there, that Caston is so strong right now in the mid lane. He's only got that Tear of the Goddess.
This is a problem. Ramen Defu's into the top lane. Duxel Volt is looking strong as well. Has the tankiness to be able to survive. Has a little bit of that non-magic mental as well. Gonna have to reset. Gets pulled back in though. That's not what he wanted. He has to burn the flash. Has to respect that kill potential that Trudock has.
Oh, and that pull through the dash was just so detrimental. If he would not have gotten hit by that pull, he would have been out and would not have burned the flash. But because of it, had to take that all-important summoner spell and had to use it just to secure his own life out of there.
I am concerned about SSJR just scaling up into this game. 301 already finished at 7. Ray took down to the bottom lane. Plague Leaguer wants it. He takes it. Level 5. Viper Risk just falls the wish for level 6 coming up, but couldn't skill it in time. Finally gets it done from the grave, but this is immaculate play coming out of Playkeeper. just punishing this Soraka who's now 1-for-1.
And I mean, this Playkeeper's just landing all these hooks. He should probably change his name from Playkeeper to Playmaker, honestly.
Yeah, now they're going onto Gronless. He's level 6 as well. We do have a roam here coming out, but it's the bear on the back end. Sonic Cabs gets gifted the kill on the river. That should mean it will get set up. Another nice hook, Playkeeper. Do you want that? You try and get the play back. The brute is there. The damage, the combo, the healing doesn't come out from the shield, from the killer instinct. Deathstone is having issues in the middle lane as well. There's so much priority for DoV in the bottom side of the map here, which means a free dragon going over to them.
And we touched on it a little bit. Like, one of their win conditions is definitely going to be that mid lane, and if they can get him on.
Ooh, they put a lot trying to kill that Soraka front four under the tower. Couldn't quite tank up the tower shots as well. They'll be going back with blinking health bars. Dolphin Judas really pushing it to the max. Deathstone again just has to be backwards. That's a long cooldown though. You know, SSJR, he flashes forward and he goes for it. He goes bold. He gets the rip walk in and he'll be able to walk it out.
This Cassidy is just becoming the monster we were kind of expecting him to become, but so early in the game, it's quite concerning. I think this is honestly, if it continues down this path, this is really going to be DoV's game to lose, honestly.
There isn't a big fallback pattern actually over onto the side of Warmother. I mentioned that a little bit in Champion Select, that they really are all about protecting the carries, but if the carries don't have the damage, if they have the openers, here comes Corliss up level 7 into the top lane, onto Trio, gets the root down, has to flash away from that as well. Duke's L-Volt, but here comes the teleport for the back end. They want the fight. DoV now looking. It's SSJR. He's got more items. He's got the penetration. They go down. Sonic Cabs up into the top lane as well. They're now diving under tower, but SSJ can't chase any further. Trudolf on the back end of it, taken to the death realm. Will trade 1-for-1. That could be a good call, but it goes over to Sonic Cabs and they are online.
Oh my gosh, this mid lane, the Cassidy alone is just saying, hey everyone, like, just come to me, play around me, and I'm going to make sure that we can get through this to the mid to late game. And he's bringing it to them, honestly.
Wonderful play, that was so perfect out of Dolphin Judas, setting up the route there for Playkeeper in the bottom lane, and Viper risks to just not answer the call.
And I mean, this bot lane, like, they're doing exactly what they need to do. They're making sure that the Soraka can't survive. I mean, right now this Soraka is only level 6, 2 levels down from her laner, and 2 levels down from her opponent. She's the lowest level in the game, underneath of the junglers as well.
Yeah, so many plates falling here for Dolphin Judas as well, as he can't hold that 2v1 under the tower, but it's all contested around this rip held up with Frontless in the front line, damage coming down from Deathstone here. SSJR on the front line, taking a lot of damage as Deathstone trying to look for that last auto. Flashes for it. Can he get one? Yeah, there it is. The shot down. Going good to open Deathstone. Uses the exhaust as well, but will fall to Trudolf. Now they're trying to go for Dutch elbow. Sonic Cabs just buying time, just waiting to come back into the fray to be able to help his top laner. Trudolf, Sonic Cabs has to flash away. He invested too much. Next elbow is a tanky land and he takes him down as Sonic Cabs goes a little bit too deep. Playkeeper over the wall, looks for the land to play into the bottom lane. Viper is under threat yet again. Ignite is down. Playkeeper will secure that ancient spear now, trying to find what he can do, but another hook lands. Playkeeper can do no wrong in this game.
Oh my gosh. And I mean, this is just showing how strong of a team DoV Chaos can honestly be. I mean, the synergy from top jungle and mid working together and how well they're interacting just shows like the power that they can really have if you have those 3 lanes playing together and playing to their strengths.
Yeah, this is a very quick pace of game here for DoV Chaos. They're really setting up this Caston to be a monster, kind of not at that 25-minute mark, more at that 20-minute mark now. They have a lot of presence. They have so much gold and potential on Dolphin Judas, just set up on a platter by Davekeeper. They are working in tandem right now. They are potentially going to get ganked. Deathstone has that package. They're looking for Trudolf as well, trying to isolate him away, but he could just go into the death realm. He's now challenging Deathstone, who's just trying to walk around the map. Will trade it for the kill, but now SSJR looking into the back end. He gets exhausted. The lantern out as well. Now they're trying to reset. They're onto the Nunu. Flawless can't tank up the damage, and Sonic Cabs goes for the beast mode. with the Stormbringer as well. SSGR looking for the back end of the Agent Fit on the front line now. He just has to cut away from 3-man unit. The Hook trying to find it, but he splits the uprights there. Sonic Cab's going slowly. He got the lantern out, however. Gonna take one more shot. Gonna fall down to Agent Fear, going a little bit too deep.
Oh my gosh. And I mean, right now, like, they're going a little too deep, but I mean, with as much lead they've got, I think they have a lot in the way that they can just kind of throw and hope for the best. I think right now they're playing just to see what can stick.
They're going to be able to reset for this Dragon coming up in 20 seconds in the game. They've got a lot of vision over to this Dragon side. Actually looking for a reset, so this is a potential window here. Honolus is in the area, potentially going to be able to do something. Duxel Volt is challenging for the vision in the river as well, but can he do that at the moment? He's level 11, he's taken down Trudok, he doesn't have that rubber death, but here comes SSJR to make it an uneven fight, taunting away, doesn't quite want to re-engage this, but now he does. Duxel Volt is just baiting them in, trying to buy time, but to what end? No one else is doing anything on the map, so he's just taken on this 2v1. But nothing really traded on the map. He's doing a very good job of it as he dodges away from the pull in there for Trudok as well. By the time Corliss now coming in, the Nunu is there, the taunt in as well, but he's going so low, he's gonna fall. Now it's lambs to the slaughter as Corliss now has to disengage. Level 7 on Viper Strike. What can that Soraka do? Just a little bit of healing, a little bit of disengaging. That is gifting the Dragon over onto the side of DOV Chaos.
Yeah, Chaos was just, as all of that was going on, they knew that they were setting multiple people up. So all they did was they just kind of cleared a little bit of the vision and set up counter vision down towards that dragon and just decided that, hey, if you guys are going to go chase that, we're going to take this.
Deathstone gets rooted down there by Dolphin. Judas engaged there for SSJR. Valkyrie used very early, didn't quite have that positioning. We talked about that, the kind of like lack of front line because it's all onto the top side. You've only got that Soraka for Beal, so if you're not strong enough to stand your ground, you just have to give way to the side of DOV Chaos. Another hook lands. That's onto Agent Fear. The nice route there by Viperist means that they can't really go any further. But you just see the piling damage, and this hook counts. Dolphin Judas finds yet another, the 8th of the game. He is so strong sitting at 2 items.
Oh my gosh, and these 2 items are the only real things an Aphelios really needs in order to be online and to start outputting insane amounts of damage. Getting that Hurricane means that he can just apply his slow, especially from his Gravitum, to multiple people.
That's a dive 3 seconds down, which means that tower will stand no chance. They've got the pick already onto Viperist. 7 deaths to his name, 18 minutes in this game. Sonic Cabs goes beast mode, looking for that. Another hook lands. It's thwarted, however. Playkeeper can't quite take it. Nice little bit of a counter there from Corliss, but he's just trying to buy time as the onslaught from DOV Chaos is absolutely just magnificent.
And I mean, I was kind of pointing at the top lane, mid, and jungle synergy, but really that bot lane too, they're playing so well together that it doesn't really matter what kind of happens, especially in a 2v2 with them, because on that Thresh, he's just becoming such a monster with landing and prediction of all of these hooks he's been throwing. It makes it so that even if they try to get out, he's making sure that they're going to be sticking in there for just another minute.
Romulus thinks that he can take his jungle, but he really can't. The wards are coming forward all the time. The siege down to the mid lane. A hook goes wide, but you know another will follow in a few seconds. Dolphin Judas just tanking it up. He has the shieldings on already, and they take yet another objective into the mid lane. That means that they can rotate up to the top side to back up Trudok. Here they come with the presser. SSJR already there. The potential tower dive open, but they need Thresh for that CC control. SSJR definitely posturing forward though.
Oh my gosh, and it looks like he doesn't see this coming. It's a 4-man dive up in the top lane.
Actually really nice taunt and flash to try and get the wins, but Dolphin Judas has the damage.
And those chakrams. Oh, those chakrams, the mini chakrams he gets off of any of his abilities, especially on that pistol that he's got right now, helps him stack up. If he gets just one auto attack with it, it's just going to do massive amounts of damage for each little blade that comes and actually hits you, because it's more than just the first hit now.
Got a lot of control on the map here. They've already taken that middle tier 2 tower. Now they're looking for the top one. We have a flank situation here for TrueDog as well. That means they are just locked into this tower with limited retreat. They're trying to hold the line, but where is the front line? Where is Quanless? Jukes Elbolt now comes off caught out. So much burst damage coming out of Dolphin Judas and SSJR. The war of attrition there, the healing is proving to be vital, however. Onto the side, it does stop them for now, but they will be back. They're looking for that third Drake of the game.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, like, Drake will be up here pretty soon. I think the time is now for you just to go ahead and back, reset, and then that dragon should be up by the time you guys get back up out on the map.
Yeah, it's just all about those power spikes right now. We already have that Trinity Force, Finis Force, Sonic Cabs, the Wally Bear looking ever threatening. We have these Romaners scaling up, but they don't really come online until they're completed. We don't have that Trinity Force on the side of Deathstone as well. So they are just behind the curve. They are really pulling punches right now. 10,000 goal behind at 21 minutes into the game is not a happy sight. You know you have issues with that scaling potentially. SSJR is already there, now stacking up those Water Mages stacks.
Yep, and I mean, and you look at this in the mid lane too, like, since he had that tier so early, he's got a fully stacked Seraphs, and that's just going to mean the amount of damage he's going to start outputting, especially with that Roa starting to stack too. He's going to be a monster. He's already a monster, I should say, but he's going to be so much worse of a problem for them. And the fact that they have a very limited MR right now means that he's going to chew through pretty much everyone.
Quite get the hook in, but here we go. Sonic Cab said the tower doesn't mean anything to a Bolly Bear. Dolphin Junior's got a little bit too deep, gonna get exhausted up. There's a big shutdown going over to Duxel Vault as he does stand united into the fray there, but they've already lost the bottom lane tower. They can always defend again. Another hook land onto Duxel Vault, but that is the tank. There's potentially a good window here over onto the side of the Watchman. Can they get anything more done? Plague looks for another hook. TrueDog will be able to find a carry, and they will fall.
And I mean, this is just going to be the slow push, it looks like, maybe to the end. I think they probably can't, they'll finish probably, I would say, if they keep this pace up on the next hard shove in with the next set of waves or so.
Yeah, I mean, they can't really stop this inhibitor push down into the bottom lane now. They really have to try and reset onto the map, find a footing, but they're 12,000 gold in the rear now. They really need to find something. That was potentially it, as Jukes Elbolt took the brunt of that CC, took the brunt of the damage at the front end. But again, we mentioned the fact that the damage isn't there for the side of Deathstone and Ancient Fear. They don't have that Merman out online right now. They finally finished the Trinity Force in mid, but we only got 1.5 items on the 80 carry. Ancient Fear just can't quite cut through.
And Ancient Fear is going for a Rage Blade right now, and they're still, I believe, another component plus the combination gold off, so they're probably close to, I'd say, 1,200 gold just flat away from that whole item at the most. 700, sorry.
For that, he's already got 600 in the bag, but a kill gifted over. TrueDog trying to land a little bit too long here. Now they're looking for SSGR, but he does have that level 11, a lot of CD on his Rift Book, so he can just walk it out potentially. A flank coming out here for Duxel Vault, but they don't really want to commit. They know that they can't really overchase. Playkeeper is here, looks for hook on to Deathstone, but can't quite find it. Now they're coming with the taunt here. Deathstone actually backwardly forward. Does he want that? He has to flash out instantly. Now the wonderful hook coming onto Viper. It means that the Soraka has already gone down the line. Aiden Spears free firing into the backline, but we already mentioned his lack of DPS. He gets played back into the team. A triple kill going over to SSJR. Duxel Vault, who tried to start it all, is going to have to run with his tail between his legs. SSJR hunting him down, and a quarter kill going over to SSJR on this Cassidy.
Oh my gosh, and honestly, with as strong of a late as they got and the death timers they've got to boot, they've got a big wave. It looks like almost a double stacked wave in the bot lane with 2 siege minions on there. This has got to be the game right here.
Actually, the surrender mode coming out. They know that the death timers are up, but they feel like the game is too far gone. As we mentioned, the carries just not hitting their damage power spikes when they needed to. Playing a little bit loose and heavy on that as well, spending, but a great game number 1 for POV, and really highlighting that bot lane synergy between Dolphin Judas and Playkeeper.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, just to let's go look back at this draft that they have really quickly. I mean, I think honestly the way that this is going to go is they cannot let that Thresh or that Cassidy come through again. Those seem to be two of the strongest and most issue creating the issue for that team.
Yeah, definitely. They need to reset themselves a little bit. They'll have a few minutes to do that, but they'll be back on the Rift for game number 2 here for the best of 3 series, the Coalition League. Definitely looking forward to that. We had a very early Trinity Force for Sonic Cabs as well, farming well, being present, and we just saw the effectiveness of that diving potential out of Stormbringer really coming down. He did not care about towers past about 12 minutes in the game.
He just kind of looked at him and just gave him a nice little head nod and said, "I'm gonna go on through. I hope you don't mind me." And just kind of kept diving and just going under. Yeah, as you said, he paid them almost zero mind and had no negative repercussions really for doing that. But as of right now, we are going to take a small break while the teams are setting up for game number 2. We'll be back, and thank you for joining us.